Hi, Ann. It's Bonnie Erbay, host of the PBS Women's Weekly News Analysis Show. To the contrary, first, if you would tell our viewers your full name and your title at AAUW, please.
Hey, Bonnie. I'm Ann Hedgepeth. I'm the Interim Vice President of Public Policy and Government Relations at the American Association of University Women, AAUW.
Terrific, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
We are a little puzzled by this new edict sent forth by the Trump administration. He is going to roll back paid regulations that were put forth by the Obama administration that were going to help all kinds of people who find themselves on the wrong end of pay discrimination. Tell me how those regulations would have helped and what is going on.
Yeah, it's really disappointing news from the White House. Their first real action on dealing with the pay gap is to stop a really critical data collection that had been started, or at least the framework for it had been started under the prior administration, and we were just getting to the point of implementation where we would start hearing from employers. They'd be submitting some compensation information that would really help us see what the gender and race wage gap looks like at different employers.
But why, let me ask you this, why we get data from the Women's Bureau at the Department of Labor that shows age, gender, race, etc., and pay levels, and that's how we know, for example, that women make anywhere from 77 cents to 80 cents on the dollar for men. So how would these new regulations have helped improve that picture?
Yeah, this additional data would have helped us drill down even farther into industries and even specific employers to see, on the average, what type of compensation women and other employees are experiencing in their workplaces. We know sometimes that there are questions about the pay gap being a myth, and we always like to be able to drill into the data and the specifics and show that, yes, on average, women are experiencing a pay gap of about 80 cents on the dollar. When you look at different groups, it gets even worse. And, you know, AUW has done the analysis to show that it starts from day one out of college. It negatively impacts women's ability to repay things like their student loans, and it's holding them back over their lifetimes when it comes to their economic security. But more information and more specific information when it comes to employer practices would make a big difference. And that is what the administration has halted this week in this initiative.
So what does that say to you about this administration and how it feels about gender parity and how it feels about women's rights in the workplace?
It really begs the question, what is the administration trying to hide, and what are they complicit in allowing employers to hide? We know that the pay gap exists. We know a part of it is sex discrimination or discrimination on the basis of race or ethnicity, and we need more information to really improve practices. This would have been a way, too, for employers to correct where there are problems in their workplaces using the data they'd be submitting to the EEOC in this collection. We would like to fight this on a lot of fronts, and this would have been one tool in this fight.
Was this something industry was lobbying against, or is it just something that the Trump administration came up with on its own and industry wasn't really crying out about having to provide, I suppose, a little more information on their payrolls than they had been before?
You know, over the past few years, as this data collection was developed, there were opportunities for all stakeholders to weigh in, and there were even changes made to the approach that the data would be collected by to build it into an existing data collection that employers already participate in to make it easier and to reduce the burden. But ultimately, even if employers are suggesting that it'll take time or resources to provide the information, the big picture question is how much is this type of pay discrimination costing individuals, families, and our economy as a whole, our society as a whole? I would argue that that cost is much higher than the burden that employers may feel in submitting some data in addition to what they're already providing on an annual basis.
So how far do you think this will set women back? And as I understand it, it was not just women, it was age, it was gender identification, including transgender, and of course, Hispanic, African American, Native American, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely. It would have provided us information and context across a wide range of demographics. And we know that this will mean we don't have some of the information we need to make some corrections in workplaces and to fight against wage discrimination. But there are other opportunities. Even when Congress won't act, even when the administration is stopping important initiatives, we're taking the fight, AUW is, to state houses and to local jurisdictions and to businesses on their own. They can be a high road employer and fight against this type of wage discrimination in their own workplaces in the meantime. And we hope that states will follow suit in passing strong policies that incentivize pay equity for everyone.
All right, thank you so much. And please keep us posted on what's going on with this really important initiative.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Take care. Bye-bye.